Frank Ranks week 20. Can you believe it? Almost half a year coming up. We got a whole nother month. We got half a year. Jesus. And then on top of that, we have some great books this week. So it was hard to rank it this week, but let's talk about them right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to jump into these books. Pretty good week as far as I'm concerned. Did get a chance to go to Dallas to meet some people out there, so I got some books out there as well, but I haven't read them yet. Most of them I haven't read yet. So, a lot of Fantastic Four that I picked up from John Byrne's run. But remember, before we begin, give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. And if you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding, and share this video out there. Plus, as you know, I am a writer, so if you'd like to check anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com, just type my name in, or there's a link in the description below, including my 4-novel series with a sci-fi background called Destiny Aurora. It was also made into a board game and an RPG. It's also on Audible and on Kindle. All my books are on Kindle. Also my fantasy book, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch, and my new comic that is now up on Kickstarter. We have a pre-launch page where you can just click to get notified about when we launch, probably next month. So definitely check that out. You can go to the QR code. It's called Fairy Tales of Terror. It's going to feature Cinderella, Tiger Lily. I created a new fairy as well that hangs out with Captain Hook, Tiger Lily, and Cinderella, all in this issue. It's going to be great. Anyway, you can check out the QR code, or the description below has a link to it. All right, so let's jump into these comics. I have 9 this week we're going to talk about. But before we begin talking about that, there's a couple here that I am not rating because they're by friends of mine that I did see in Dallas. So this is Aaron Sparrow's book, Kneel Before Doomface. I just want to give these things like a shout out. So again, they're not being ranked. I'm just giving them a shout out. And then Calico by H.H. German. These were all people that I saw that were a part of the aficionado team, etc. They were all hanging out at Dallas. But I'm just going to put that there. And then on top of that, we're going to start with the 9. So number 9 is an independent book that I did receive from Kickstarter, and this kind of falls into some of the Kickstarter stuff where the quality of the writing is not very good. Here the artwork is even subpar. It's got some great artwork on the cover. A lot of times the Kickstarter stuff, gets sold by the cover, and then the interior is subpar, but then I just don't go back and get another issue. And this is one of them called War Angels. So it's about a group of a female fighting team, and they're in this war zone, and it's pretty bad. There's not much for me to say about it. Let me adjust this real quick. There's not much for me to say about the book because there's not much to it in the least. So, unfortunate. So, jumping into number 8. And again, all these books are really good. From this point on, they're all good. It's just, it was hard for me to decide what to put where. But we have a independent book by a friend of mine. But I'm going to put this in thing because he's got several of them out already. And that is Mark Spear's Monsters. And if it looks familiar, it's because he and I did a board game as well, a card game, with all the classic monsters in it, and you get to play as the monsters, fighting on some other monsters for the domination of areas. It's really awesome. If you'd like a copy, let me know. It is on late pledge on GameFound. All right, so the artwork in here is awesome because what we see on the cover is what's on the interior. And this has, I think he's trying to put too many of the monsters into one storyline. I do like this Slayer character that's on the cover. This actually happens in the book, which is unusual sometimes for the cover to actually equal the interior. But the Wolfman's in there. We have like a Goonies kids thing. The I'm not a big fan of what he did with the Bride of Frankenstein. He didn't like her hair or whatever else, and Igor cuts her hair off. We did have a little fight scene between these two where he's like leaping out of a car. I guess he didn't know he was going to be fighting a werewolf, so it didn't have silver bullets, and he's firing, and it turned into like more of a bit of fisticuffs by the end there. A lot of that stuff was really good. All right, so that'd be my number 8. Number 7, and if I have like a sticky note, it means I read them digitally. Okay, so this is number 7, and that is Pop Kill. This is Palmiotti. This is the story of 2 warring brothers that both own soda companies. They were conjoined twins who got cut apart and hated each other ever since. And we have the story of it's like a James Bond type of character that works for one of them. And there was a girl that had a chemistry or whatever else, a formula to do carbonation, like unlimited carbonation. And they both wanted it, and one hired her, and then the other one was trying to steal her away. And, there was a loyalty issue. She had a dog. Everybody wanted to kill the dog to show that they meant business. Anyway, they end up falling in love, her and the James Bond type character. And this is the end. This was number 4, was the end of the storyline, and it doesn't work out too well for the brothers on either sense. Anyway, it's a decent book. It just has a weird premise. All right, so number 6 is the JSA. And I like this book. It has a flashback, but this is how I think that Lemire should have written this to begin with, because he had way too many characters in it, and instead he went and threw the old JSA into this hell area, this purgatory, and then he has a new one searching for. There's just too many characters. But this way, he had a flashback of the old guys that are connecting to a story and the new guys. That's the way this should have been done. Where the storylines of all the old battles that they had done, and then with whatever villains, the villains have now all come into the future or whatever else, and now they're fighting the new guys. That would make total sense with me, and then that would be a delineation of stories instead of having the two teams kind of overlapping. And Wildcat was killed on the last one. So we're feeling the repercussions of that as well. But this is about the Spear of Destiny and things to that effect. It's actually a pretty good issue. So I guess we'll see what happens with it. But overall, I like the JSA. All right. This would be number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, 5 I read digitally. It is G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. I really like this storyline of Snake Eyes and Scarlet and a couple other guys going undercover. So they had a defector from one of the Crimson Guard. And they took over their likenesses and everything else and went back to Cobra as the family that defected to infiltrate. And I really think that's a good idea. So, plus we have Baroness on the recoup from being shot by Cobra Commander. And Cobra Commander is still kind of under Destro's... he's still captured by Destro, basically. But they're trying to figure out how to move forward. But overall, Larry Hama's doing a good job. It's better than when it started. I dropped it because I didn't like how it started with the zombie thing. And that's the other thing, is Dr. Mindbender is now on the mend because he was turned into a zombie originally. I'm glad that he kind of kicked that storyline to the curb. It was too tropey, man. Too tropey. But anyway, this is actually a pretty good book if you're not reading it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4. I gotta number these things. That's what I gotta do. All right, this is a DC book. Another one. So we had Independence galore here, and we notice I do have a Marvel book. Okay, I was wondering if I had even one Marvel. But this is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Unlike a bunch of other people that didn't like the original one, I actually really like the original one. This one has a really good start so far. Waller is trying to figure out how to battle the Titans if they come back. So she took the Suicide Squad and gave Killer Shark or King Shark some kind of a growth ray or whatever. So he is now the size of a Titan, but I guess his brain stays the same size. So he's now fighting. He fought Godzilla and lost, and changed back into small, and Godzilla just kind of left him alone. Meanwhile, the other ones the Justice League went through a boom tube and ended up on Skull Island, and Kong is not remembering them. Kong had a kind of the relationship with that relationship, but like a moment or whatever else with Supergirl. So he doesn't even remember Supergirl. Supergirl's there as well. So they're battling Kong right now. That's kind of where this got left off. But also Flag is kind of over Waller, and at the end of it, he shoots her, and she's looking pretty dead. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But overall, this has been for a first issue of number 2, it's been pretty good. All right, number 3, another independent. Read digitally, and that is G.I. Joe number 7. This is the beginning of the introduction to Beachhead. It's really actually a great story. This is by Joshua Williamson. So he is contracted to go get this item, and he thinks it's an item that he can just pick up and carry out because he's breaking into this facility, and it ends up being the size of a human being, and he's like, what do I do with this crate, man? How am I going to get this out of here? So anyway, he ends up getting it out, and it ends up, I thought that was pretty funny. And it ends up being a bat trooper, a robot, and he takes it to them, and he gets, I think it's CoverGirl and whatever else, try to recruit him, and he's like, man, I'm a loner, I don't know if I'm going to be joining you guys. And that's kind of where that ends, but overall, really good one. Really good one. All right, number 2. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Number 2, another independent. And I already told you the other one's Marvel, so you know what the first one is. And that is Solomon Kane. Solomon Kane is written and drawn by the same person. It's unusual that an artist can tell a story, but this is a really beautiful cinematic story where we do get some supernatural stuff. He's a Puritan, but I guess, even in the movie, there was a little bit of supernatural stuff in it. But this was, this is so far as a decent story because we also have a shapeshifter. They're fighting these serpent guys, and they're trying to find this object that they're not supposed to find. So... but overall, this has been excellent, and they also have a relationship budding between Diamanta and Solomon Kane. He's like, look, I'm sworn to protect you, and that's it. So I'm not coming on to you. And she's like, well, maybe I'll just come on to you instead. So yeah, it's really good. The action's really good. Overall, if you're not reading Solomon Kane, it's awesome. All right, so number 1, what Marvel book is it? Because, I don't get many Marvel books. And that is Star Wars Jedi Knights, believe it or not, especially after the last issue was a complete piece of crap. But it's a really good Star Wars story. This is, as each one of them is kind of self-standing, the only through line we have right now is that there's a assassin looking for Qui-Gon. Now, why they used Qui-Gon as the target, he can't die. So they should have used someone else that possibly could be in danger, but we know that he's not in danger. But we're waiting for the battle between them to be there. And then we also have Jango Fett in there. But anyway, Shakti and Obi-Wan are sent to a bank. And I don't know why they did this either. They said that 10,000 credits was stolen. Wasn't 17,000 credits used for for Obi-Wan to get the Falcon. I don't know. I think 10,000 credits seems very, very, very small. It should have been like 1,000,000,000 credits because they're saying that it's Jabba's money and the bank's going to go out of business, and I just seems too small. Maybe he thought that 17 meant 17 credits. But I never took it that way. I thought it was like 17,000 credits that they ended up, factoring in with Obi-Wan with Han, how they were negotiating. But anyway, this is the story of Phaedra. I like the look of Phaedra. She's like a little bit of Domino type of thing, where she has this stark white face, and she plays everybody. And because in the beginning they say she's a criminal mastermind, but we're like, yeah, okay. But she ends up playing everybody. I really like how the story was delineated. And so she has stolen this money. She has all of these bounty hunters after her. We even get to see Aura Singh, which I haven't seen her in forever. And she has made a deal with Jango Fett, but we don't even see what that deal concludes with until much later. But anyway, she believes breadcrumbs for the Jedi to find them, because by the time she's facing off against the bounty hunters, the Jedi show up, and she uses them as a distraction. And then they finally get her into custody, and the money. But then Jango gets her out. She pays him, and he's like, well, how are you paying me if the money got taken, confiscated? She's like, I just needed that money as collateral to put down my bet. So she ended up not even needing the money. She didn't steal it to keep it. She stole it to use it to make more money. Really, really good story. If you're not reading this one, it's actually pretty good. Again, just skip over 3 because it was crap. All right, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding ding, and share this video out there. And also remember too that jump on Fairy Tales of Terror if you're a fan of comics. This is I think it's a really fun book. And again, I wrote it, but it's lots of fun. The artwork inside is amazing. The covers are great. You can see the Tiger Lily cover right there. It's awesome. But anyway, definitely check that out. Go to the QR code over here, or click in the link in the description below. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, bye-bye.